Welcome to the show, Valentino.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Does that mean history has been made?
Yes, on GXP history has been made, and the best, one of the best history. Yes, so you are Valentino Richard Kabenge. Which one is which exactly? Which one is your stage name and which of the two?
All of them are my names.
Like birth names?
Valentino Richard Kabenge.
So if I get in touch with your birth certificate, Valentino is on?
Or just hang up Valentino Richard Kabenge.
Nendo zabakade bali mulavu.
Kugambi. Bainero kuba mulavu kubanga bazaala Valentino.
Okitegeera? Oba bakuzaala ku Valentine? Bakuzaala ku Valentine?
Yeah, 14th Feb.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
Now I get it. Tuli bulungi nnyo, we are very happy to host you here on GXP.
It's really, really a pleasure, and we thank God for the gift of life, the gift of talent, the voice. Because really very many people are looking for a voice, but they don't have it. So we have the voice. We really thank God, and we pray that this show can impact someone out there that's watching. Yes.
Definitely, definitely, especially if you're out there and you have a skill, you have a talent, and probably you feel judged to bring it out well, this show is for you. So, Valentino, we want to know your story. We've seen you on different events, functions, weddings, and we've also seen you travel the world with your talent, and we actually don't know your story. Can you share with us your story? How did you start dancing? Was it something you had since childhood, or this is something you later on took on?
Wow, I really, really love sharing my story, because one of the reasons is because you know, God blesses us to be a blessing to others.
True.
Through sharing our testimonies and our life experiences, we really speak to very many people. So, well, I started. I was just a normal kid. Grew up, was born in Chebando, and then
Ndi mwana wa city.
Ndi mwana wa city.
Okay.
Ekyalo sikimanyi nnyo. So
ekyalo kyo kiri mu Kampala.
Yeah, ekyalo kyaffe kiri no wano Gayaza, side ya mu Busoe, ekifo bakiyita mu Buso. So I was born and I started, when I grew up, I started going to school, and then dropped out of school when I was in S2. When I dropped out of school in S2, I started to look for what to do. What do I do with my life? Because I didn't have school fees to continue with my school. So I was wondering, what do I do with my life? But one thing that is really surprising is, in school, I never did anything around art. I never did.
What were you doing?
I was just focusing on studies, and also I had really low self-esteem. I really had very low self-esteem. So, but I had some people who used to believe in me, because when I was in school, I remember I used to watch a lot of Nigerian movies, and every time going back to school, I used to have like stories. So I really had a lot of kebi with my friends. We really had a lot of stories, and they really had faith in me in a way I do not even understand. You know, so every time they had MDD and that, they used to like give me the energy that, Valentino, go on stage and do something, but I wasn't that kid. Yeah, until around 2008, when I broke out of school, then I started to think about, what do I do with my life? You know, so deep down in me, since I was watching a lot of Nigerian movies, I was like, maybe I can start acting, because I really, really loved the acting. I loved the acting. I loved the way they used acting to communicate to the world. So I started to pursue acting. So that's when I went to Mariam Dagire Training Center, and really, Mariam Dagire, I really want to thank her for the great job she's doing with the youngsters, because sometimes you only need the one person to give you a ray of hope, like something to give you the faith, you know. So Mariam Dagire gave me my first opportunity to do an extra role in a movie. And when she gave me that, I realized that, okay, so someone really respectable in the country can believe in me to give me something. It was really small, but it gave me some courage, you know, and confidence. So I started acting, and that's where I found a gentleman that took me to dance.
So when you dropped out in S2, you did nothing but went straight to acting school.
Well, at home we used to have cows and all that, so I just used to do home stuff and rear cows, and we had 2 cows, so it was a source of income home to get money. So I used to, in the morning, as my cousins were going to school, I was milking the cows, going to get
no, but that's
peels,
interesting because having cows in the city center, literally,
yes,
it's interesting.
Yeah.
But then I also heard rumor that you also engaged in picking, like collecting, is it garbage or something at one point in your life? Yes.
So I when I was rearing the cows, and I used to go and get like banana peels for them, that's what they eat. So and then I started to go to the National Theatre. So the National Theatre, someone told me that when you go to the National Theatre, that's where the artists meet. So I went to the National Theatre, and I started to go there every day, walk from Chirando to the National Theatre, and try to find, because by then I had faith that the moment I find someone like Chameleon, they're cool, what? My life has changed, So that was the thing, because that person told me, if you find an artist, they will find artists there. So someone maybe could pick you up and give you a platform in the acting and all that. So when I was at the National Theatre, I was looking for what to do. So my first assignment that was given to me was a friend of mine that worked at a fruit center that told me, you know what, Valentino, there's a guy who works here, because by that time I didn't have money to take me to town, come back home, so I didn't have anything. So what happened, he told me that there's a guy here who works here, but on addition of him working here, we always send him to take these rubbish for us and throw them somewhere. They had a place behind. So if you could be the one now to do that, when you come to town, as you do whatever you do, you help us carry this garbage and take it, and we'll give you something. And that was 1,000 shillings.
So each time you took the garbage,
yes,
you were paid 1,000 shillings.
Yes.
But at that time,
it was something simple, because it was just picking it and just walking beside the corner at the National Theatre, and that was it. And she felt like, okay, maybe you could start here, at least you have 1,000, maybe. And by that time, she's my friend, really, very, very good friend called Birunji. So she started also to give me some more money herself. Give me 1,000 additional 2,000 slowly, so that I can find money to take me back home.
And when you are in need, 1,000 can be
so
much.
Oh my
can mean so much.
And by that time, it could buy you, a decent commando. No, yeah.
Ali commando chalinga cha bitano. Nice mani kati cha mekoba.
Echo chininga ku 2,500. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so I started at the National Theatre, and
so from being literally well at National Theatre, you first started as a garbage collector for that specific area.
That wasn't what my aim was.
It wasn't your aim, but it's what you started with.
Yes. So when I went to the National Theatre, always every day to stick around and see on the boards, because they were like the auditions. They also put some auditions on a notes board, so you come and be here. So every day I couldn't miss, because one, I didn't have a phone. So I didn't have a phone, I didn't have anything. So I just had to go there every single day to see what's on the notes board, who artists are around, Yeah, and that was the first thing, collect the garbage, because she gave me that money. And also, she used to share with me the meals that she had, because I was empty.
Oh my God, that lady must be such a beautiful soul.
She is a very beautiful soul. Yes, very, very.
May God bless her.
Yeah, because after that, she now led me to her boss, and who gave me a job to start working at the fruit center, the National Theatre.
So from collecting garbage, you ended up working at the fruit. What exactly were you doing with the fruits? Selling?
Selling, yeah. There were those artists, the theatre factory. By then the National Theatre was very busy, very, very busy. Yes. Yeah, so I worked there, and that's when also someone else told me, okay, there's also Bat Valley Theatre. so that's when I went to to Mariam Dagire, so I could go from the National Theatre to but Valley Theatre, and yeah.
You were being ambitious.
Very, very ambitious.
You know, sometimes to break through in life, you need to really be ambitious, but in a positive way.
Yes.
I mean, there is being ambitious in a wrong way. So, I mean, doing anything to break through, but then your story is very beautiful. And, you know, sometimes we meet people in places and we tend to look down on them, but we actually don't know why they're there.
Yes.
And we don't know. And when I speak to you, you know, right now with what you're telling me, Valentino, you're teaching me how to always be humble around people, you know.
Yeah, I think that's really, really a very great thing I learned from my background when we were raised. We were raised in a very humble families, because I didn't stay in one place, you know. Everywhere I went, I was really taught to be humble and respectful of people. Yes, so I really thank my background, the people who have passed through their hands, right? Is that the word? Right word, yes.
Those that you've gone through, that have really been there for you.
Exactly.
So let me ask, so at what point did you break through?
So when what point did I break through? One, it was when I was at the National Theatre, but Valley Theatre, we had a lot of actors meetings, because Mariam Dagir was really invested in, you know, talking about the arts, you know, teaching us and finding ways how do we use what we have to speak to the world and make our lives better. So there was this man called Moses who saw me, and I remember that Thursday he was like, you know what, Val, there's this one place that they do dancing. They do this style of dance. Could you please come and see what happens there? But I wasn't interested, because
so that's what I was about to ask.
I wasn't interested at all.
You didn't even see yourself a dancer.
The thing is, because dance was never something I ever paid attention to. Now, by then, I was just invested in acting. Yes, but between that time, as he was persuading me to go and start dancing, there is a friend of mine called Grace Lindsay, who invited me to feature on Don't Mess with Kansime. Yeah, that was around 2015, and she just told me, you know what, Valentino, we are filming something, but they've already casted, but I really, really believe in you. Maybe come through, and I've seen the script. There is an extra role. So when they ask someone, because normally extra roles, what we do is we just use people around, but I will say to them that you can do it. So I went and did it, and when I did it, they were like, I think there's something here. So
okay, so the story is getting really interesting, and we're about to hear from Valentino on how exactly he broke through and how he found himself a dancer. But for you to know this, and of course more. Welcome back. The conversation still continues with Valentino Richard Kabenge on how he broke through and how he found himself a dancer, something he never thought he would become. So you're talking about the extra role that Kansime needed at that point. Don't mess with Kansime. Don't mess with Kansime, yes.
It was on Citizen TV Kenya. So so when I did the role, they loved it. When they loved it, I was given, you know, the job to come and do, because there was skits, 4-minute skits, and so I was always scripted in here and there, and then they also asked me to help them with a boom mic, so I was also doing that, and on extra to that, and it was really, really nice, because that was the first time I really got to be paid decent money.
Oh.
Yes, she really was paying us decent money.
Oh,
yes.
so can you maybe give me an idea how much it was?
No, just to know.
It was decent money.
It was really good money. By then it was really, really good money.
Okay.
Remember, this is a guy that was just working at the National Theatre, because when I started now doing the Fruit Center, I used to maybe go home with 5,000, 8,000, you know. Yeah, around tens, you know, 5 to 10,000. So, and now here I am. I come, I act like 4 or 5 skits a day, and I'm being paid good money. It was really nice.
So exactly what was your role? You were dancing?
No. By then it was acting, because Don't Mess with Casimir were different skits. Different skits, yes. Acting skits, like she could create stories, like now you're acting a beggar, you're acting a what, you know, so there were different things. So I acted.
So can I say that you are an actor as well?
I am.
Okay.
I am an actor.
Okay.
I am an actor, and yeah, because I'm really, really fascinated with storytelling. Yeah, the power of storytelling through arts. That's why you see the work I do is mainly, I'm very selective on what I do. If I do not have a message to give out there, then I rather not do it, right? Yeah. So, so that's how it was. And then after Don't Mess with Kansime, that's when the deal collapsed. Not collapsed, ended. When the deal ended, that's when I was like, okay, so what do I do next?
What next? Yes.
Because I remember by then I had done so many auditions, and I was never given. But people used to say, you're good, but you're not who we need, right? So by then I started to ask myself, what do I do next with my life?
Didn't that affect you as a person? Did it affect your esteem? I mean, like what you're just telling me right now. So people are telling you, oh, you're good, but, but you're not the right person for this or that role. Didn't you get affected at one point?
Okay, I think I was very lucky that I had a conversation with someone before that, and get to learn that when you're an actor, there are different things they look out for. So you can be you're going to act a daughter to someone. There's a lot of things they consider. Do you kind of look alike? Are you, you know? So there was a lot of things. And what also gave me comfort was the fact that by then I had dreadlocks, and then I thought in a way that maybe my look was something that people didn't think we could adjust to. So I was okay with it, and of course I felt a little bit sad sometimes when I wasn't given, because at some point you would hear rumors that this is a great project, it's gonna be amazing, there's a good pay, there's good, you know, everything. So, and then you don't get the job. Yeah.
No, I can imagine the feeling. I can really imagine the feeling. I mean, I have been there. You know, you do demos and you are not taken in, you in particular, and you're thinking, I think I did my best. I think you even start to think to yourself, I think I was even better than the other people.
I know.
You know, you're like, I overworked. I knew what to say.
Yeah.
Why not me? But you know, sometimes they look out for so much more. I mean, it's like
so
modeling.
Yeah.
You know, many people think if you're tall and slim, you can be a model. No, they look at
there's more to that.
Shoulders, they look at the cheekbones,
exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
But when you're a hustler, or when you're an ambitious person, you go through so much.
You go through so much, and that's the reason why we'll tell the people out there that are watching that, you know, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, it's just a matter of time. Your time is coming. Definitely, everyone has a time of their breakthrough.
True.
But when that time comes, because the thing is, when that time comes, do you use it to the fullest? You understand?
Yes,
so
true.
you need to really prepare yourself so that when that time comes, you really shoot and shoot for the stars. Yes. So where were we?
Yes. So now,
yes,
you're not taken in on all these projects, and you're feeling okay.
Yes.
And now let's get to the dancing. So at what point did you find yourself now? Boom, I'm a dancer.
Well, eventually after a month, when this man was inviting me to these social dance places, so I decided to go one time. And when I went, I really found people dancing and having fun and enjoying. And what really got my attention was the social bit of it. Because by then, since I had a little bit of low self-esteem, being in a place where people care about each other, and you find a woman who comes to you and approaches you and says, "Shall we dance?" was really powerful for me. It really caught my attention, and that's the reason I kept on going. And then I started to fall in love with the music, fall in love with the dance, and I you know, I got really introduced to very many things around the dance, and that's when also someone introduced me to Dancing with the Stars, a show in the USA. And when I saw what they do with dance, I was intrigued.
Wow.
Yes, I saw what they really do with dance and how they communicate through dance. It was very, very powerful. And by then I was like, okay, so when I put my acting and my dancing now, yeah, what can happen?
Okay. Wow. So maybe I should ask you how long it took for you to get those dance moves correctly. And before I get to that, I just want to ask you, what do you think of this conversation?
It is honestly just engaging. It shows you how much, you know, out of nowhere, out of thin, you can get to be elevated to really big, great places. And before we even get to that, you talked about the whole dancing and what. There's a video of Valentino doing his moves and the dancing. Honestly, I don't think I can ever be that agile. But well, you never know. With some good training, you never know. If he could, exactly. So there's a video of Valentino doing some dancing. Let's just catch that right now. And we get back and we talk a little bit more about this dance. So that we know what sort of dancing we're talking about here with Valentino. So this is Valentino here doing his thing.
Valentino there, and today he is telling us his story, how he managed to get to that point in life. I mean, many of us, I'll say this over and over, we have seen Valentino grace our events, our
Weddings.
dinners, weddings. I hope you will one day grace my event.
Yeah. I'll teach you the first dance.
Yes, please do.
Currently, we really teach. I really enjoy being part of people's love stories.
Okay.
When we choreograph the bride and groom, the first dance, because very many people don't have the confidence, you know, to get on the dance floor. So they reach out and they're like, Valentino, we need a first dance. We need how do we enter into our reception? So it's really wonderful.
Trust me, I have the confidence. When it comes to dancing, watch the space.
Now with you, we'll just be polishing and maybe giving you all the sharpness.
No worries. I look forward.
Very ready for that.
So, Q, you're saying something.
Yeah, actually, what I wanted to find out. So within your entire life story, so you are acting with Kansime, things are working out, you've entered into dance and you've discovered this is also a good avenue. At what point do you decide, you know what, I think it's not by my own energy, there is God in this thing. At what point do you turn your life around and say, you know what, me, I am going to get saved and I'm going to do what I do to glorify God?
Great. That's a very great question. Thank you so much for asking. Now, in 2015, when Don't Mess with Kansime stopped, I guess, I decided to do a lot of things. That is even before I decided that, okay, let me take on dance, you know, as a profession. And I did a lot of things, and I tried so many things. When I say to you so many things,
Yes.
I wrote so many proposals, shared very many ideas. There was even a point when I felt like, okay, when I have this kind of money, I can do this and I'll get the breakthrough that I need. And all that was in vain. Because I remember there was a time I really had the exact money that I need to do something. And when I went to do it, just me as Valentino collapsed. You understand? So one time I was with a friend, and we were sharing a story, and I'm like, I'm really, really overwhelmed. I'm done. I'm trying so much, but it's not coming together. He just asked me one question. Do you give everything that you want to do to God? Do you take it through to prayer? And definitely everyone says, yes, I do, because we wake up in the morning, Jesus, thank you, you go. He asked me, do you really give God time? Because those are two different things. Yes. There is that everyone prays, and most times we go to God when we need something from Him. But is He your best friend? Is He your friend? Those are the questions he asked me. And by then, that's when I look at myself and I'm like, okay, so lead me. Where are you taking me? He told me, you know what? I want to take you to church. And I remember that morning, that day, it was a day before, I didn't even have money to take me from Chebando to where? To the church at Synagogue Church of All Nations, Prophet Samuel Kakande. And he gave me money, because after Don't Mess With Kansime, now by that time, that's the thing I'll tell you, that even there was a time I held money in my hands, but it couldn't make sense. I didn't have wisdom. I didn't have anything to do with it, you know. And so he took me to church. When he took me to church, I was prayed for. I was introduced to God. I was, through the scriptures, through the preachings and all that, I kept on going back to church, going back to church, going back to church. I found myself addicted. I found myself in there. I found myself immersed with the Holy Spirit. And that is when I was like, God, I give you everything. And let me tell you one thing I got from church, my first gift from God, peace of mind.
Wow.
When I got to realize that, understand that God works in His ways. His timing is always the best. Give everything to Him. As you work, you need to work. Because very many people think when you give to God, you just sit and relax. No, you need to keep going to your purpose. Do things that lead you there. Then God is with you. He empowers it. He breathes life in it. And
wow.
yes.
That's very interesting.
Sure.
And you know, maybe can you also share with us how you have used your talent to minister?
Minister.
Yes. Have you by any chance done that, or at any one point?
Yes, a little bit. I'm looking forward to doing more of it. I'm generally, when I dance, I don't just dance. I dance message. You know, there are very many stories of healing, stories of love, stories of togetherness. Those are kind of stories I tell, through my dancing. And also we're really doing so much to promote inclusion. You know, when you are in Christ, you really understand that God does things His ways, and people are not like some people think when you don't have one leg or another, you're cast and all that. No, there's a reason why you're there. So when I got to learn that and got introduced to inclusion, you know, it's really a very big part of the kind of work we do. So those small ways that God is helping me to bless me, to enable me, He's enabling me to minister to the people, and even giving the testimony today. Wow. You know, that's a way to minister.
So tell me something. Can we say that apart from your hard work, all that we see today is God? is the work of God in your life?
It is the work of God that has used people. You know, God does not come from heaven to just, you know, throw something to you. He passes through people, you know, so that you get that grace. Because, you know, there's people who walk in life, and there is a moment when I was looking for favor within the people. I was looking, there was that time when you could go to a place and you actually looked at as a thief. You're looked at as not enough, you know. So praying to God, and He gave me the favor, the wisdom, you know, to use what, because it's also like God gives you the wisdom, you know, so that when you go into a place, you give your concepts to people, you know, they can accept them. You know, sometimes there was a time, because me breaking out of school in S2, I went into life and it was just me. And when I found God now, it was me and God, you know. So I didn't have any kind of education on how things are done like this and that. Even when I started to dance, I'd never stepped into a dance school, you know, and I started to really dance, and it was the grace of God that actually I got a breakthrough in dance.
Wow.
Yes.
That is a very beautiful story. And maybe one more question before we get into some music. The conversation is still on. So you say, from being perceived as a thief, when you walk in a place, I mean, people are worried. I mean, and in those days, I mean, you have dreadlocks, you know, like, okay, I know what is he up to? You know, that's how you start to put your bag on the side. And you speak of God's favor upon your life. And of course, we see this favor when you represented Uganda as a judge in London dance competition. So maybe tell us about that and what it really meant for you, from being an actor, actually from being a garbage collector, to an actor, a dancer, and now a judge on an international platform. What was it like for you?
For me, that moment was amazing. I don't know, I don't have the kind of words to say, because one, I was judging with that lady. She's called Oti Mabuse, and she's very, very popular in the UK, in the world of Latin dance, the style of dance I do. She's South African, but she's in the UK. So having the opportunity to be in her presence, and actually she's the one that picked me out. She was like, I want that guy on a judges panel. That was very, very amazing.
For you.
I don't even have words to explain it, you know, because I was called. When I was called, I was like, okay, is this really happening, you know? Yeah, so I went all in for my country, Uganda, for myself and for the glory of God, and it was great. I don't know if even great can explain it. Yes.
And was it your first international platform to be part of?
Yeah, let me say, to travel or to do something.
To do something like that.
No, before, I think the year before, I was in the UK still, and I was for the Newcastle Congress. I've done some shows there in Newcastle. Yeah, I think that was in my first. So I went to London to study dance, and I was studying at Oti Mabuse Dance Studio. And just after my first time being there to study, I came back to Uganda. And then the second time I go there to judge, that's amazing.
Wow, that's really nice. Yes. And you know, the fact that you know, you're doing these things and God is blessing you with this. You come back to honor Him, to thank Him, to you know, let Him know that yes, I have worked hard, yes, I've done my part, but if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for your favor, I wouldn't be where I am. And on that note, if you're out there and probably you have never been grateful, look around yourself, look at that thing that God has done in your life, and take time off and just, you know, say, you know what, yes, if it was not for you, who gave me the strength to do this and the courage, I wouldn't be here doing this. Yeah.
I think for me on that issue, I think that's the best we can give him. That's the best we can give him. Because I remember there was a times when I was in my home, I used to have a bedroom and a sitting room, and I used to crawl from my bedroom to the sitting room praying on my knees, saying, God, please open the doors for me. By then, I used to just move out of the house and everyone could see a smiling face. But what happens in my room, I am crying to God. Please,
you're on your knees, you're
door.
crawling.
Yes, from my
that,
bedroom
God,
to my sitting room and going back and forth. And I remember I promised him, I told him, Father, I'll speak of your glory. I'll speak of your glory to the world. I will talk about you. I will testify. If I don't do it,
you know, that's the thing about promising.
True.
You have to keep
fulfill
your promises. Yes.
True.
Yeah.
And I'm just not doing it because, okay, I promised all that. I'm enjoying it.
Yes.
I'm really, really enjoying giving God the glory because He deserves it.
Amen.
Sure. God deserves all the glory. Even the gift of life. Twebaze Mukama.
Amina, Amina and Amina. Omanyi bobereyo nga. You know, we take everything we have around us for granted. You're eating food all over. It's okay.
Food.
But there is someone out there on the street looking even for the littlest of a crumb to eat. So if you're out there and you haven't been grateful, please, please, if you are a CEO, it's not by your strength that you're there. Yes, partly yes, but remember the God that you cried unto. When you were in your lowest, when you were rock bottom, when nobody believed in you. You know, you mentioned something about getting into a place and you're seen as a criminal.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, it's very common. It's very normal. You know, when the whole world doesn't believe in you, there is that one person that believes in you. There is that one whom you never see, who is invisible, and that is God. And He lives. Of course, it's important to thank God, to also know that He's a miracle working God. And we can see this in Valentino. Wow, Richard Kabenge.
I love the way you say my name. Say it again.
Oh, Valentino. It's a beautiful name. It is a beautiful name. And yeah. So basically, you founded Val Rich. Is it Valentino Rich? Val Rich?
Valentino Richard, so Val Rich Arts.
Wow.
Yes.
So tell us about this project.
Okay, so that's my company. I co-own it with a lady called Zina. And I really, really want to thank that wonderful, amazing woman who really works so hard behind.
Are you talking about the Zina I know?
Zina Banteriza? No.
Okay.
Zina, yeah, she's Zina Branaka.
Okay.
She really works so hard to see that a lot is done. Because normally when people see the artists on the and the face, you know, all they think about is the artist, but there is a lot of a lot of energy and effort in the whatever in the background. So Zina Bernaka, I work with her. I really want to thank you so much. Thank you so much for the great work she does. So Varich Arts is a production arts company that is dealing in music, dance and drama generally. At the moment we are so much on dance because we really want to find, because I asked myself, because you know when I came to dance, I asked myself, why am I here? Because I never was meant to be here. And then through speaking to God, He gave me the vision and purpose of that, and it's mainly to impact the dance industry. Okay. Because at the moment the dance industry is really, there's a lot of demand, yet we have amazing talent, amazing raw talent. So we are trying to see what is missing in the industry to really make it give more platform, because we can't do it all. Just as Varich Arts. There's lots of people, other dancers and stakeholders that are doing amazing things to see that the industry grows. So we are just here to also impact, put something, you know. Yeah, and part of it, what we've done is we are preparing a mega dance production, and it's going to happen really soon. We are bringing in some great team. Recently we hosted Richard Marcel from So You Think You Can Dance, amazing shows in the UK and USA. Recently, at the moment, we have 11 times champion in Latin dance of South Africa.
Wow.
She's called Donlyn Fisher, and she is here to share skill, to work with us, to see that we impact the industry, give people skill. Because very many times I talk to dancers and they say, hey, Uganda Tewali Center, we want to travel abroad and dance, but at the end of the day, what are you taking abroad? People are really skilled. People start dancing at the age of 5. So you really need to have something.
You have to up your game.
Exactly, up your game.
But sorry, let's pause a little bit there. We need to really discuss this thing.
Yes.
Why is it in Uganda talent is always choked?
No, I think
because we really have great talent.
I will say this: it is not considered as something worth pursuing. You know how hard it is? The other day I was having a conversation with someone, and they were like, you see, if it is hard for you to explain what you do to your older parents, then high chances you're in the creatives industry. Because imagine having to explain it to your grandmother, I make money through dancing. Probably like, they want you to come and say, hello, I am an engineer, I'm a doctor, I am, you know, the what thing.
In fact, you'll even be given the mic to always speak on events.
Exactly. Now imagine they're introducing you, oh, the Mugaga has arrived, what does he do for a living?
But also the industry in charge, or the people in charge in this industry, learn to appreciate talent, and let's go away from this whole idea of Uganda Tebasasula, because at one point we thought, okay, it's only in the gospel, but it's not only in the gospel. And I like the fact that you mentioned that when you auditioned and did what you did for Kasime, you got paid. I think this is what we all need to hear and understand, that talent can also be a career.
Yes, and for me, one thing I always say to people is we also play a big role, a very huge one. Yes. Right? How you present yourself is how people will consume you, right?
True.
Is how they will address you. So there's a lot to be done in the industry by we, because it starts with
the
us.
Key players.
Yeah,
yes,
the key players, you know. So when you talk about dance now in dance, you'll find that very many people do not even do research. They don't research. They don't even know. Someone doesn't even know the style of dance they're doing. So how do you expect someone to pay you when you do not have such kind of knowledge? You understand? So there's also a part of us that is hugely...
that needs to be polished.
Exactly.
Yes, but the point is, even if it's polished, will you still be acknowledged? Because that is what I'm thinking we are lacking. Are we? Is the industry being acknowledged by
the...
those in charge? I mean, if I call you for my wedding, for example, I'm not going to pay you peanuts, and then pay... and I can't pay my gown, for example, a lot of money and fail to pay the entertainer of the event. I don't know if you understand me.
I do.
So it's also very important that those in charge understand. Even our government needs to really do something about it.
Exactly.
But that's a story for another day.
Government mutuyambe.
But anyway, so what's the future? What's the future for Kabenge?
So the future, Barrich Arts, as I told you, music, dance, and drama. So we are looking at sporting talent, helping them grow and you know, manage with time. So we want to do some dance projects that really create demand and give more platform for the dancers. And we already recently, as I told you, that we hosted Richard Marcel from the UK, who is really great in his skill in directing dance, in choreographing and all that. And we have Donlyn Fisher, very skilled. So what we want to do is we are slowly building up the momentum so that by the time we are ready to do these shows, TV shows and shows that dancers come and perform and they're really paid and they're given skill and all that, when the time comes when we are really ready, right? So at the moment we are planning that, and we want to also share more dancing. We are going to start holding dance shows, as the video you saw earlier, me dancing with a lady in green. So there are very many people who are interested in dance. They're non-professionals, but they just want to dance. So we are putting on an event in August, which is going to bring everyone. So it's going to be a 4 weeks course. people come and study dance. It's starting on 29th July, and then eventually we'll have a really amazing show at Fairway Hotel. It's going to be amazing. There's really a lot of things. At the moment. I went back to study acting, because I don't want to just put it to rest. So I'm studying acting with Stella Damasas. She's a Nollywood legend, and she's really doing great. So I'm studying acting, I'm doing dance. There's a lot, I don't know.
That you're doing. Well, so unfortunately, we've come to that time of the show where our time is almost up, and I would really like you to look into that camera and encourage someone out there who feels, okay, is this talent worth putting out?
Yeah.
Because I strongly believe talent can be anything. It's just not what the obvios, okay, in my simple words. So how would you encourage someone to bring out their talent and not to come in fear of, I'm going to be judged? So how would you help that person?
Wow, there's a lot to say on that issue. So for anyone that's talented out there, stay true to yourself. That's the first thing. Stay true to yourself. Know what you want, and don't stop learning. Don't stop learning. Very many people, just become stagnant and they do not want to learn. Yeah, be open to learning. Research more. Be confident in what you have, because God has blessed you with that, and you have a lot. The world is really huge. I'm telling very many people, some people don't see it happen in Uganda. The fact that you're born in Uganda, it's not where you're supposed to be all the time. The rest of your life, go out there, look for where you belong, Yeah, so you have a space. Everyone has a space. The world is big to pursue what they were blessed with. So go where you belong, find that place, find your purpose, and flow. Na yesaba, bane tusabe mukama.
Amen.
Let's come back and testify.
And thank him.
Yes,
thank you so much, Valentino Richard
Kabenge.
Yes, this is the next one. Akakaimba, bakayise batya?
Kaliwa.
Kalika.
Eka gospel ke nabagambye agwanire aganina.
Okay.
Sebo kwataka video. Niwegira.